What's up, YouTube? I'm Mr. No Name, or Max as people know me in the real world, and today I'm bringing you guys probably, hopefully, the last gameplay that is somewhat old because I think I fixed my capture card. It's a really weird thing. I've been doing some research on it and I found a YouTube video, and normally I wouldn't trust what people say on YouTube, at least in this case, but I did it anyway. And basically, I put my capture card in the freezer for 20 minutes and it works now. So I don't know. One thing the guy in the video did say was that it's called the blue ring of death, where it just constantly flashes the blue ring. It's the equivalent of the Xbox 360 red ring of death. But yeah, he was saying that you might have to do that every 3 hours or so. I might have to put it in the freezer for a good 20 minutes, which kind of sucks, but I might have to do that, or I can try and get a replacement, but I don't know if that's going to be possible since the customer support for AverMedia, from what I understand, is pretty awful. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I should be able to record gameplays now, at least for 3 hours. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll keep you up to date. Next little thing before I get into the main topic here is somebody has suggested that I start doing a series, and it's something that I thought about doing before, and I tried it, but nobody was sending anything in because I was still fairly low in subscriber count. But basically, if you guys would like to send me gameplays for me to review and to commentate over, telling you what you did good, wrong, what you can do better, things like that, then you guys can do that. And the way to do that is to private message me that you want to do so, and then I'll give you my Gmail address so that you can send it to me on Google Drive. So yeah, just let me know if you want to do that. You know, I'm not a professional, but I do feel like I have enough experience to at least give you a different viewpoint, some other insights in on it. I'd prefer that you send me S&D gameplays simply because that is what I'm best at. If you'd like to send me blitz or domination, you can. Just know that I am best at S&D out of the 3 game types, so that's where I could help you the most. You know, if you send me a really good gameplay against some fairly bad people, I can still try and help you, but it's not going to be as good. I'd prefer gameplays that are closer or you lost, and I can try and tell you what you can improve on. So those kind of things. I'm not going to be disrespectful in them. I'm not going to call you awful or anything like that. But if you would like to do that, just private message me on YouTube here. Alright, so sorry that took a little bit, but getting into it here, the main topic is how to not fight with teammates. And this is something that is unfortunately a fairly big problem on YouTube, or on Call of Duty, excuse me, because it's such a rage-inducing game. It's quite ridiculous. It gets your blood boiling, and you can just get so mad over the BS that's already in the game, and then just random things that happen. There is, you know, luck involved in this game, so it kind of sucks sometimes, and you can get really mad really easily. So there's a few things that you should remember or think about, or are just part of nature that you need to understand so that you can try to prevent fighting with your own teammates, because that is extremely detrimental. So the first thing is you need to have respect for your teammates. And this can take a little while to develop if you just got the team, because, you know, you don't really know them. But, you know, take time to learn about them. Of course, if you're just getting together, you don't want to divulge all of your personal information to them and everything. But, you know, just start building a relationship and get some respect going for them. You know, they're people too. Just respect them. Next thing is, remember to call out first before you tell your teammates again why the game is so BS. Because we know it all happens where you can, you know, get 2-shotted and you put in like 5 bullets. Call out first, then if you must, talk about the BS in the game. Next thing is, if you are going to yell, mute your mic first. Like, if you just feel the urge to yell, just mute your mic before you do it. Whether it's at your family members standing behind you making noise, or if you're mad at a teammate, don't let them know about it. Mute it if you're going to yell. Next thing is, if somebody makes a mistake, let it go. You don't have to let it go permanently, but, you know, if it's a minor mistake and it doesn't normally happen, just completely let it go. I wouldn't worry about it. If it's something that is being repeated several times, you might want to address that issue, possibly in-game or after-game, depending on how respectfully you can do it and how calm you can say it, or if you know that they will respond negatively to it. I would wait till afterwards in a better setting, you know, out of game. And if it's a very, very major issue, then you might want to go ahead and address it right then and there, or you might want to wait if it's going to take a while to address and talk about things that could be done to help change that. Next thing is think before you speak. You know, think about how it could affect your teammates, how it could affect you, and just things like that. You know, don't tell your teammates that, oh my god, you're so bad because you did this. You got to support your teammates. You got to have faith in them. It's just the way it works. Next thing is, don't get mad at a teammate when they choke. You got to say good try. You know, I don't care if they choked something like they were in a 3v1 and they had 3 up and they were facing one person and they choked. You know, that kind of thing happens, and I don't care if it's a 1v4 choke where your teammate was a 1 person and they just choked the last kill. It doesn't matter. We all choke sometimes. You just got to say good try, prop them up, don't destroy them, because that, I mean, it's not necessarily destroying them. Most people aren't really going to be that sensitive to it, but it does hurt, and they're going to get mad, and they're going to be thinking about that for the rest of the game if you bring that onto them. Let them concentrate and move past it, and you need to move past it as well. Everybody makes mistakes. Next thing is, have out-of-game discussions. You know, this could involve, you know, just before you start games, you know, just take a little bit of time to talk about issues in your own personal lives if you trust each other that much, or you can talk about issues in-game, like, oh, you know, I think there's this strategy we should try, we need to do this, or things like that. You know, communication is key in any sort of relationship, in this case, a teammate relationship, and you've just got to remember to respect that. I mean, sometimes you could even have an actual, like, we've had to do this once where we were having an issue with the team and it was getting fairly serious, so we took an afternoon to talk about it for about 3 hours, I believe, and we just sat there and talked about it, and it was kind of awkward, but I mean, you could get used to having these kind of discussions, maybe not that long, maybe like a 45-minute discussion one night every week, or every 2 weeks, or every month or something, just to talk about a recap of what's been going on, what you guys need to do to take it to the next level, things like that. Next thing is, let your team know if there's something bugging you. If it's something to do with the other teammates, you know, you got to let them know. If it's something in your personal life, like, oh, hey, I broke up with somebody and I'm not feeling that great today, I'm a little irritable, so, you know, just bear with me. You know, like I said before, communication is key. You got to let people know when you're having a problem. And then the next thing is, remember that everybody has their bad days or their bad games. You know, it happens a lot sometimes. You know, you can get into a slump even and go for more than a day and just have bad games. You got to move on. And also, you know, to the person who is having that bad day or game, you got to keep your head in the game. Don't get mad. Don't just give up. You got to move on past it and go on. And then the next thing is, you've got to remember that it is not always somebody else's fault. This is something that is so frustrating. You don't need to constantly be telling people that it's their fault. They're going to be really mad if you are saying it's their fault and you're the one going 1-9 and they're going like 7-4. They're going to be mad at you and they're going to ignore whatever you have to say. You could bring something up after the game and be like, hey, I think you should have done this. It might have worked better. And they will probably respond better to it. But you need to worry about your own game first if you're struggling that much. So be careful with that. And then the last thing that I really want to talk to you guys about is, don't constantly, when you're dead and you're spectating in S&D, for example, don't constantly be saying, oh, you should do this, you should do this. No, don't do that. Why'd you do that? You're an idiot. Don't try and control your teammates when you're already dead. Let them think, let them do what they think is right, and you can talk about it afterwards if they make a mistake. Because when you do this, bad things tend to happen. You know, they can't hear, they can't sound whore, they get confused sometimes, they're conflicting with their own gut feelings versus what you're telling them to do. Sometimes it'll work out if they listen to what you're saying, and other times it won't. And then, you know, you just don't get mad at them if they get confused by you doing that. It's not a good thing. So hopefully, if you keep these things in mind. It can help reduce the amount of fights you'll have with your teammates. It's not going to 100% eliminate them because, you know, fights happen all the time. Just try and keep it to a minimum and try and move past them. So, as you guys can see, we're coming to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, then please like, comment, and or subscribe. If you didn't, then let me know what I can do better next time. Constructive criticism goes a long way, guys. Until next time, everybody, peace out.